Hi there, good morning. You've tuned in to ET Now, and this is Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Cheryl D'Souza. Along with me, I have Shrishti Sharma. As you can see, we are trying to paint a shade of green for the markets. We did try to make a good recovery actually from the day's lowest point. Shrishti, if you see Nifty Bank in the positive territory, benchmark indices that was sharply off the day's lowest point. Even the broader markets have seen a very smart recovery from this lowest point. So definitely looks like a shade of green is what we are hoping for by the end of the trading session. Let's not forget today was the MPC meet outcome. 3-day MPC meet came to an end today, and you had the RBI governor outline or dictate what the MPC actually decided on. The rates are on hold as of now. Said that the GDP growth forecast as well as the CPI inflation forecast for the year FY25 have been retained. For GDP growth, it is 7%. For CPI inflation, it is at 4.5%. And some slew of other measures. One of the crucial pointers that the governor made is the fact that the liquidity is now in surplus since March end. But let's talk about what the rest of the markets are doing. Like I mentioned, broader markets seeing steady recovery from the day's lowest point. Benchmark is also seeing good uptake. Nifty Bank in the positive territory. HDFC Bank leading the gains on the Nifty as of now with gains of about 1.2%. UPL, Hero Moto, SBI Life are the other set of gainers. While a sharp spike in the crude oil prices in overnight trading session to the October high, you can see BPCL among the top losers on the Nifty. 2% down coming in for BPCL. L&T, Grasim, Hindalco are the other set of losers. And quickly, let me just brush you through what the sectoral indices are doing. You have IT index as the top sectoral loser. Metal, oil and gas, all of them a bit easy. Even metal is auto also a bit easy in trade. But realty is back to its winning ways, 1.4% up. PSU Bank also good gains, and pharma index as well. So that's the way how the markets are looking like at this point in time. Shrishti, definitely smart recovery underway for the benchmarks.
Well, yes, Nifty Bank has showed a smart recovery and Nifty 52, but let's wait that the shade of green whenever that happens on Nifty 50 or not. But viewers, this is the show where you get answers for all your stock-related queries, and like every day, you can connect with us live on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on your screen. But don't forget that today is Friday as well, and like always, we are getting you Buy Now, Sell Now Pathshala. So let's go across to Kunal Bothra, who is standing by live to take us through the learnings for today. And Kunal, very good morning. Take us through what's the Buy Now, Sell Now Pathshala topic for today.
It's a very interesting topic and something which I'm sure many of the viewers would be probably wanting to hear that, buy on dips, is it a good strategy, a viable strategy? And if so, what are the different approaches which one can probably adopt when you're looking at buy on dips? And especially given the way the markets had corrected in the month of March, and then we've seen a stable bounce emerging for many of the mid-cap names. But then there are many of the other stocks in the mid-caps and small-caps which are still not gotten to that bounce territory. So I think in that aspect, this could be a very interesting strategy for many of the viewers. Now, taken two examples over here and two different approaches how we look at buy on dips for individual stocks. Now, this is the charts for Escorts, and this is the last 1.5 to 2 years, more than 2.5 odd years of chart patterns for Escorts. And what we look out for is a coherent pattern for the stock in terms of price performance. Now, as you can see over the last 2 years, the stock has this odd tendency or habit of going into a patch of consolidation. So this was seen in the month of start of December 2022, where the stock formed a top over here, went through a grind in terms of a price-wise consolidation, and then a price-wise correction for itself. Now, in the process of doing that, the stock came back towards retesting a major trendline support. And from here on, once the consolidation signals or the end of the consolidation signals were confirmed, you saw the stock moving up higher yet again, starting off or kick-starting a fresh uptrend for the stock. This was in the start of 2023. Again, a very similar patch of consolidation or a correction for the stock. In a very similar kind of a time span, it came very close towards retesting of the support lines, and once this consolidation was over, the stock started to move up higher. So which means that this becomes a very strong support trend line for the stock on a medium term basis. Now, why is this important? Because in the recent last 5-6 months, the stock had gone through a similar patch of correction. It fell from, I think, 3,400 levels, came back towards this key trendline support, and then from there the stock started to move up higher. So now when we look at the previous historical approaches, that it indicates that this may not be a minor trend in the making, but this could be a very strong breakout as well as a very strong buy on dips zone for Escorts and for someone who's missed out on buying the stock in the earlier phase of the rally. This becomes very, very crucial as a strategy to adopt for buy on dips approach for a stock like Escorts. Now I've taken one more example and a different approach over here. So here, rather than looking at a trend line support, we try and place 200-day moving average as a benchmark and then see historical tendencies that whether the stock tends to bottom out closer to this 200-day moving average. Over the last 2 years, this is the charts for Poonawalla FinCorp. We've seen this approach that whenever the stock comes closer to this 200-day moving average, the selling intensity stops, the stock consolidates, and then slowly and steadily it tends to kickstart or restart a strong uptrend for itself. So this was in the mid of 2022. This was very, in 2023 start where the stock fell down below its 200 moving average, but this became a very good buy zone for the stock. Again, in the mid of 2023, very recently, the stock had shown signs of, again, a retest towards its 200 moving average. So all of these categories and all of these zones become very good buy and dips zones. From here, you can look to add, accumulate, or even look to buy further.
All right, so that's an interesting strategy, and like Kunal said, hopefully all of our viewers will benefit out of that. That is buy on dip strategy. Two different approaches of how you can actually look at that particular chart or the technical analysis. Thank you so much, Kunal, as always, for joining us on BNSN Pathshala. But yes, let's not forget that after the break, or rather we are going to go into a break, and after the break, we'll also have Kunal join us back to take all of his stock-related query, viewers. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related query. Viewers, you can connect to us on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on your screen shortly. Remember to write your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, mention that as well. And if you already purchased a stock, mention the buy price, the quantity and the time horizon. In that way, we will be able to guide you better and take your queries to our expert. Likewise, we have our experts today, Kunal Bothra on the technical front, while on the fundamentals, we have Mr. G. Chokkalingam joining us. A very good morning to you, Kunal, once again. Good morning to you, Mr. Chokkalingam. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And let's start taking all the stock-related queries then. And this one is coming in from Anupama. And Anupama is writing to us from Abu Dhabi. She has 100 shares of Swan Energy purchased at 756 rupees per share. She's saying that the share price went through a consolidation, then it recovered a bit. It's still away from the buy price. What's the recommendation on this particular stock, Kunal? Any scope of bounce back coming in for Swan Energy? Also, key to note is that Swan Energy also moved based on news flows as well, that supporting the stock and let the stock rally actually. But what's your take coming in? Do you see further upside?
See, the first caveat is that the stock is very high beta in nature. So, it would probably tend to go into a point where the stock may rally up also 20-30%, and then in the phase of correction, you may see a much more sharper correction. That's exactly what we had seen for Swan in the last 3 months or so, from the Jan or the February highs, I think closer to 780 approximately. The stock fell down to as much as 400, 440 odd levels. So that's a very, very sharp correction for a stock in a very limited kind of a time span. So the resultant bounce has also been quite ferocious, for Swan Energy. But this, in a nutshell, indicates that to try and buy these stocks or time these stocks, it's always better to try and wait out for that odd phase of correction which comes by into these names. So as of now, the stock seems to be more stable at the 650 odd levels. I would suggest to wait for a correction if you're looking to buy or average out, say closer to 600 levels or maybe 550, 560 could be a much better range to buy the stock. So keep that range in mind, and whenever the stock provides any kind of an opportunity of correction, only then look to buy.
All right, moving on then. And the next query that I have, Mr. Chokkalingam, is from Vishaka from Kolkata, and he wants an advice on Piccadilly Agro. I'm not sure whether you tracked this one or not, but he's holding 100 shares from a price of 38 rupees. Any view on this one?
I'm sorry, I have never tracked this company.
Okay, no worries. By any chance, BCL Industries, do you track this counter?
Yeah, I looked at it. It's quite diversified, and also it has got a liquor business, which market always values quite substantially. I suggest the investor can hold on to BCL Industry.
All right, Kunal, coming to you from Rajiv. He's mentioned that he's a big fan of yours, so he's asked me, please make sure that only Kunal answers my query. So Kunal, this is for you. Rajiv wants to know about L&T Finance, if he can buy this one at current price. He's saying the Q4 results show strong growth presented as of now. What sort of a target that he can look at for the next 6 months?
Thank you so much. First of all, on L&T Finance, so there are a few mid-cap names which I've been highlighting time and again, specifically over the last, I think, many quarters. One of them was AB Capital, where I've been very bullish on. L&T Finance is the other stock which I'm significantly bullish on, even from current levels. My expectation is that the stock should chart up a fresh long-term uptrend for itself. I remember, I think a couple of weeks back, there was a query when the stock was almost at 155 levels and someone was looking to exit. I remained with my stance that the stock should be able to retest levels of 200 plus, say in the next 9 months to 12 months or so. I would be in the stance for L&T Finance even going forward. So if you have that kind of a time horizon and you are okay with sticking out for say another 9 months, 12 months or so, then I believe buying at current levels, and in case if there is any kind of a dip, should be a very good opportunity for L&T Finance.
All right, moving on then, and Kunal, once again coming to you. Siddharth from Kolkata wants to buy 2 counters. Firstly is Indigo and the other one is CDSL. He wants to enter for long term and wants to know any suitable entry price point for both of these names.
So for Interglobe Aviation, I would believe that maybe wait out for another round of correction. I think maybe 150 to 200 correction could be a better range to buy, and the stock would probably keep on providing those corrective opportunities. So I think you don't need to buy the stock on a breakout, but you can probably post a breakout whenever the stock gets into corrective phase. That could be a better territory to buy. So maybe 3,300 could be kept as a ballpark number, and closer to that territory is where you can look to start buying or adding on dips for Interglobe Aviation. For CDS, on the other hand, I think current levels could be a good enough zone where you can look to start buying, but then keep a buy on dips kind of a strategy here, because the stock still has not gotten to its strong volume trending breakout, which we typically look out for. So the volumes have been all over the place for CDSL, and that's why I would believe that maybe the stock would probably get one more round of correction. So you can look to further add in case if the stock dips, say closer to 1770, 1780 mark.
All right, this one is coming in from Indu. She wants a technical view on GNFC as well as GSFC. She wants to know whether she can buy them at current levels. Is it expected to move higher or consolidate is what she's asking. What's your take, Kunal? Both of them are Gujarat state-led companies. Both of them are PSU entities. What's your take?
So both of them are attractive. In fact, both charts are very, very similar when we look at it over the last 3 years, 5 years kind of a time for themselves. For example, GNFC and GSFC both in the last 2 days or so have managed to come back above their 200-day moving averages respectively. So that's clearly an indication that both the charts are more or less a mirror image for themselves. But both of the charts are also looking attractive at current levels. GNFC particularly is something which I would believe that it's at the cusp of a breakout yet again on the charts, and looking at the way the sector has moved, I would believe that could be a better bet. But yeah, I think as I said, both the charts are very similar, so you could probably bet on both of these stocks. GNFC is a preferred bet according to me out of the two.
All right, Mr. Chokkalingam, what's your advice for Balakrishnan, who is confused between a couple of names to enter afresh? Can he buy Oil India, Granules India and IDBI Bank at current levels? What will be your take on this?
IDBI Bank, maybe yes, for medium to long term. It is fairly priced in terms of price to book value, but then long term opportunities are there. So there are talk of divestment. As far as Granules India, one can hold because all these pharma stock, including Granules India, they have run up a lot. So I would give a hold strategy. I'm sorry, the third stock.
Oil India is the third counter, Mr. Chokkalingam.
Yeah. So long term it is good. Definitely there is no doubt. But the stock has already played out almost 300%. And this commodity business, they always trade in poor single digit. And secondly, definitely if oil price is going to shoot up, there will be increase in the oil prices. The governments have done in the past always, because you can't be punishing the end consumers continuously. So that risk is there. And then third risk is there in the medium term, because there are some economies still in the deflationary condition. You have seen UK getting into technical recession, even whole Europe is struggling. So there is a possibility of oil price moderating quite significantly. So that is also another risk. So therefore, I would give a call at the current price for Oil India.
Right, Mr. Chokkalingam, another one coming for you. This one is from Sunil G. He's writing to us from Mudra, and he's mentioned, and actually if you go by all the queries that he's posted, it's always when you are on the show, and he's mentioned that you are his favorite. So he wants to know what are your top bets when it comes to the medium to long term, and also do you still have conviction in Indoco Remedies?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks for the faith. Indoco Remedy, I have a strong faith. I mean, I have a very high conviction. Because if you look at all domestic formulation companies, they trade at anywhere from even 7 to 8 times enterprise value to sales. So current value, current market cap and debt, if you consider the domestic formulation business is trading at around 3.5 times for Indoco. So definitely, I believe there is an opportunity for Indoco to give, even in the worst case scenario, minimum 30%, and the return can be even up to 50%. As far as my high conviction stocks are concerned, I would say that another 3 stocks in the small mid cap space. One is Bombay Burma Trading Corporation, and second, Karnataka Bank, and third, Sterling Tools. Out of these 3, we personally invested in Bombay Burma and Karnataka Bank. Then third stock, Sterling Tool. It's quite impressive. Any investor who goes through the balance sheet, latest annual report of Sterling Tool will become very bullish. The company has got into EV component through subsidiary. It has more than doubled in 3 years the revenue and profit. I mean, it looks very impressive. I think it is a play on emerging EV theme, and also the stake profile. If you see, there is some the Japanese company having some stake in Sterling Tool that gives a lot of comfort. As far as Bombay Burma is concerned, it's still trading at 80% discount to value of investments in Britannia. Now, promoters not investing in OER, and second, writing off entire liability of OER, and third, Bombay Burma has a 44% stake in Bombay Dyeing. That company has sold land bank for 5,000 crore and cleared a loan of more than 3,000 crore. That led to robust performance of Bombay Burma at a consolidated level in December quarter. That performance will continue. Fourth, the most important fact which is giving me a lot of confidence is that the Wallace brothers, the British family, who were one of the promoters before independence, they were sitting on the sideline with 8% stake for several decades. Now, first time in December quarter, they have been classified as a promoter. That gives me a lot of confidence on the governance part of the management. So considering all that and considering the fact that it is at a 80% discount, I like Bombay Burma a lot. Bank, it's 100th year. I would expect some reward to investor in terms of bonus or split. And on 1 year forward price adjusted book value, this bank trades at 40% discount to adjusted book value. In the last 3 years, I have seen any bank, quality bank, which has traded at discount, has completely eliminated discounts. So that I think can happen to Karnataka Bank as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chokkalingam, for sharing your top bets and high conviction ideas and explaining in detail the rationale behind the same as well. But moving on, then viewers, the next query that I have is coming on IOC. And Kunal Bhardwaj wants to know, is this a good stock to enter for long term, maybe for the next 3 to 5 years, and can he enter now?
Well, I think the timing may not be right. So it could be a good stock to look at investing from a long-term basis. But the tendency for IOC, HPCL, BPCL on the long-term basis, at least looking at the last 8-10 years of charts, is that whenever these stocks go into a strong phase of rally and a more extended phase of a rally post, that what we expect is that these stocks go into a time-wise and a price-wise correction. So the price-wise correction seems to have just started for these names, but I would believe that a more of a time-wise correction is still pending for these stocks. So I would probably not be in a hurry to buy the OMC stocks as of now, and with food also playing a bit of a spoil sport, I would probably believe that maybe the near-term trends could see a lot of impediment for OMC. So I would suggest to wait out for a corrective phase and maybe a time-wise consolidation to end for these stocks to be at a very good buy zone.
All right, so that's the take coming in on OMC, particularly IOC. But on that note, viewers, we will slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we'll continue taking your queries. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now. Let's keep it going with all your stock-related queries. And Mr. Chokkalingam, coming for the next query. This one is from Tinku Bala from Punjab, and he wants a fundamental take on two counters where he is looking to make a fresh entry. Firstly is RateGain Travel Technologies as well as PNB. Any of the stock that you like at this point in time?
PNB, yes, for medium to long term, one can hold because the rating agencies have once again come with a strong, robust 14% credit growth for FY25. And I'm sure PNB would be one of the beneficiaries of robust continued credit growth in the banking industry. In the last fortnight, the credit growth has been 21% year on year, which is record level. So therefore, I would suggest him to hold or buy PNB. I am not comfortable with the valuation for RateGain Travel.
Right. Kunal, this one is for you, coming in from Sushil Kumar, who is also a fan of yours. He's saying that he has actually profited or benefited from your advice. He has Sun TV. He bought at 650 rupees per share recently, as well as India Bulls. I'm not sure which India Bulls is this, but at the price of 155 rupees per share a year ago. What should his strategy be for the next 6 months going ahead? Sun TV for now?
So I think both the charts, I'll probably take Sun TV as well as India Bulls. I think, if I'm not wrong, because 1 year back that was the only stock which was in that particular price zone. I think both the charts are attractive. Sun TV particularly, I would believe, should be heading towards a breakout of the 750 mark. The way the charts are poised over the last 2-3 years, there was a rounding bottom formation, then an upward move, and now the corrective wave seems to have ended for Sun TV, which means that the stock should get in line of a breakout yet again. So bullish on Sun TV, expecting the breakout of 750. So this could be a good buying zone, and same would be the case with India Bulls Housing. In fact, you can probably look to even add India Bulls Real Estate from the pack, because that's the other stock which is also looking very attractive, has come back towards a multiple retest of the 25 mark and finally a breakout about those levels. So both the charts also look attractive.
All right, moving on, and Mr. Chokalingam, the next query that I have is coming on Sheela Foams. This has been a big underperformer of late, but just for today, positive announcement where the company received a new order worth 21 crores. V. Ravichandran wants to know that looking to invest for the next 3 years. So at this point in time, is this a good time to enter into Sheela Foams?
I certainly believe no, because of two reasons. One, valuation is extremely stretched, and second, these kind of companies ultimately use the derivative of crude oil, and the crude oil prices have gone up almost more than 20% from bottom in the last 4 months. That would be negative. So therefore, you can assess the Jan-March quarter results, and of course that in case it corrects at least 10-15%, then you can consider buying it for long term.
Kunal, Surajit Datta wants to know at what price should he look to buy Tejas Networks. He's saying that he's a long-term investor. For the long term, he wants to actually buy this one.
So, see, so far the stock is below its 200-day moving average. So that could be a good territory where you may look to buy. But the critical dip or a support for Tejas Network was around 675 mark. I think in the last 3 or 4 months, the stock had tested this zone twice or 3 times. So I think 675 could probably be a much better territory to buy. But the fact that the stock is still below its 200-day moving average, you can consider buying also at current levels, and then maybe wait out for a phase in case if there is any kind of a dip and the stock comes back to that 675 mark, look to average further.
All right, so a lot of queries actually today to know the right entry price point. And another query that I have, Kunal, is coming from Guru. He wants to know at what price can he enter into Bandhan Bank as well as Som Distilleries.
Som Distilleries is something which I would recommend even at current levels, and I've been very bullish on the stock prior also. I think almost a year and a half out back, I'd given a buy closer to 220 mark for the stock. So still be bullish on the stock from a medium to long term play, even at 300 plus levels. Som Distilleries is something which I would recommend from a long term play. Now, Bandhan Bank on the other hand, the stock has been inherently very weak in terms of price trends. So when you look at the last 3 months, 6 months, 1 year kind of a chart from 260 levels, if I'm not wrong, the stock had fallen almost like a consistent basis, a lower high and lower pattern for the stock. So I think the inherent trend for the stock is very, very weak. We have to wait out for the long-term signals to try and break out for Bandhan Bank. Only then it makes sense to buy the stock, because otherwise you would be left with the stock going to a further drag and complete indecisiveness, whether the stock would probably get into a resell downward trending mode. So I think it's always best to try and buy these kind of names on a breakout mode. I would probably suggest 225 plus could be a better point to buy Bandhan Bank at current levels.
Alright, Mr. Chokalingam, this one is for you from Dr. P.N. Rao. He's writing to us from Hyderabad. And he wants to know about Sika Interplant. Do you try this counter by any chance? He wants to know if it's a good investment right now. And apart from that, Inox India.
Sika, I'm sorry, I have not tracked, but certainly Inox India, I looked at it. Definitely, I am not comfortable with the current valuation for Inox India.
All right. The next query that I have, Kunal, is coming on PB Fintech. Shaikh wants to know that he's already holding 50 shares from a price of 742 rupees. What to do in this one? And can he go ahead and add more of PB Fintech at current market price?
Well, you can still consider adding the stock at current levels. Would be bullish on PB Fintech, and I think recently I had given a buy call also, on a trading front, of course, with an expected target, just closer to 1350, 1400 odd levels for the stock. So would maintain the stance for the stock, and even at current levels, I believe from a short-term play, there could be an upside potential of at least another 100 to 150 odd rupees or points from current levels.
All right. This one is coming from Kiran, who's writing to us from Pune, and Kunal wants to know about he wants to know about 3 to 6 months target on CSC. He bought about 1,000 shares at a price of 123 rupees per share, and also Patel Engineering at a price of 64 rupees per share. Wants to know whether he can stay put with these counters. What sort of a target should he look at?
So both are attractive. Patel Engineering as well as CESC. CESC, I would believe, is possibly or potentially heading towards a breakout of that 150 mark. PAR as an overall sector has done pretty well for itself. So I think at 135 levels now for CESC, you can still look out for higher targets of 150 plus from a, say, 1 to 3 month kind of a time frame. But if your time frame is more on the higher side, then you can consider holding on to the stock also. Patel Engineering, on the other hand, I think could probably be considered as more of a trading bet. The recent highs for the stock was closer to 75 or 80 odd range for Patel Engineering. So keep that 75 territory as a target range for the stock over the near term.
All right. Moving on, and Mr. Chokalingam, the next query is from a viewer. Actually, he didn't share his name on the WhatsApp profile. I could just see DJ, and but his query is on the real estate pack. He's asking that at this point in time, any company that you like for a fresh entry, maybe for the next 2 years, where he's looking to invest rupees 1 lakh.
You can consider Oberoi Realty in case of small correction also happens. This company has accumulated a lot of land bank in the last 5 years, and particularly in Mumbai. And we know that land prices have gone up substantially in the last 2 years. So Oberoi Realty, with a strong balance sheet, with a great management capability, this could be one long-term bet in the real estate plan.
This next query is coming in from Mr. Prince Samson, I believe. He's not mentioned his name, but on his WhatsApp display, that's the name that's mentioned. He wants to know if JSW Infra as well as IRB Infra are good bets for the medium to longer term investment. What's your take, Mr. Chokalingam? One is a fairly recently listed counter, but coming from a very strong business group, and the other one is IRB Infra, which has been a player in the game for a while.
Currently, hold on to JSW Infra in case it corrects, one can add also. But somehow I am not confident on IRB Infra considering the balance sheet size and liabilities. So I prefer JSW Infra.
All right, moving on, and Kunal, the next query is on IDBI. Raman from Kerala is holding 30,000 shares from a price of 92 rupees 50 paisa, and 3 months ago, and since then the stock has been on the declining mode. Any targets to look out for, and what should be the strategy here?
I would recommend a hold. Now targets depend on how much you are ready to hold in terms of time frame, because if you're looking at it from the next 3 months or so, then I would probably expect 9700 to be a near-term target range for IDBI Bank. But if the stock breaks out of that 9700 barrier, which could be a multi-year breakout for IDBI Bank, then we may be looking at higher targets of even 125 to 140 plus for the stock. Similar in line with how PNB moved, when the stock was almost at that 70 to 80 kind of a zone. Similar kind of a chart pattern is getting replicated for IDBI Bank. So it all depends on how much is your time frame.
Mr. Chokalingam, another one coming for you from V. Murli, who's writing to us from Bangalore. has two queries. One is on Pitti Engineering. He wants to know if he can look at buying Pitti Engineering right now because the company has now capacity expansion which is coming into stream. And also the other one that he's asking a slew of basket companies which are into, I believe, into aeronautical space or defense space per se, Dynamatic Technology, Azad Engineering, Solar Industries. Out of these three, which one do you think makes sense for him to buy for the longer term?
Among all these, definitely Dynamatic Technology and Pitti Engineering are the great company, great models, and good management. But unfortunately, in this mother of mid-cap bull market, all of them have ran up. But among these four stocks, if he still wants to invest for long term, he can consider only Pitti Engineering and Dynamatic Technologies.
All right. Moving on, Mr. Chokalingam, once again coming to you. Any take on JB Chemicals? Krish has bought 150 shares from a price of 1,305 rupees. Any view for the long term?
My heart bleeds to talk about JB Chemical in a positive way on this channel because for several years I recommended at 1/10 of the current market price. Obviously, I am not comfortable because now it trades almost around 7 to 8 times enterprise value to domestic formulation sales. I think all the good positive developments are already captured in the stock price. I think this is a time to unlock wealth from JB Chemicals.
All right, so that's the take coming on JB Chemicals. Anuradha, who is writing to us from Mumbai, wants to know about in retail real estate space, which is the best bet that one should look at, Mr. Chokalingam? Given a slew of names, but what's your take like? Do you think Godrej or a DLF makes sense, or you should go mid-cap companies like a Raymond, which is now actually full throttle into the realty business, Kolte Patil?
As I mentioned earlier, if you want to bank on realty, still you can consider Oberoi or to some extent even DLF. These are the two stocks I am pretty comfortable based on their delivery capabilities and balance sheet size. Other stocks, I think they have run beyond their valuation comfort zone.
All right, that's the take coming in on the real estate counters. But with this, viewers, it's time once again to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. And for a change, looks like today we have a lot of fundamental queries coming in. And given the fact that we have Mr. Chokalingam joining us after a while, Mr. Chokalingam, the next query is for you then. This one's from Sudarshan. I was writing to us from Bangalore. Wants to know if it's right time to invest in Servotech Power Systems at this juncture, considering the long-term investment horizon and its business proposition with HPCL, BPCL, or for the matter of fact, even for EV charging infra.
I'm sorry that I have not tracked this company in the recent times, so I am unable to give.
All right. Kunal, have you tracked the charts for Servotech Power? And to be very frank, of late, over the last 1 to 2 weeks, we've got a lot of queries asking about this particular counter. Maybe also the fact that it's tying up with these OMCs for EV charging infra, which actually lags in India. What's your take on the charts for Servotech?
Frankly, I haven't looked at the chart, and even looking at the recent last 5-6 months of chart, the stock is just about gyrating or moving closer to its 200-day moving average only. So there is nothing exceptional on the charts even the last 5-6 months, and I don't track it also quite often.
All right, moving on. Then, Kunal, what's your advice on ITC? Maybe for the next 2 to 3 years, a viewer named Kumar Gupta, can he continue holding this counter? He already has 680 shares from a price of 446 rupees. So he's at a loss, but in the next 2 to 3 years, what's the return expectation?
So I would be very bullish on ITC from a longer term perspective. Now, since you've purchased at the slight higher end of the curve for the stock, I would suggest that try and use opportunities of corrective phases like what we saw, I think, a month back for ITC when it came closer to 400 levels or sub the 400 mark. Those could be classical, strong psychological points where you may look to average out further so that you can bring your cost price lower. But I would suggest a hold.
All right, this one is coming from Navnita Singh. Wants a technical view for a short-term period, about 3 to 6 months, on Crompton Greaves and NMDC Steel. She's already in losses, Kunal. So what's your take on both of them?
So NMDC Steel is something which the history is a lot more limited, so I won't be able to track it on a more longer term basis. Short term wise, you may probably expect that because the commodity and the metal theme, they are coming back again into a breakout mode. You may probably expect the stock to come closer to the breakout level of 65 to 70 odd zone. So you may consider holding on to the stock till that time the trade plays out. On the other hand, I think the second stock which you mentioned was Crompton Greaves. Yeah. So that's a chart which has also gone through a sharp correction. If I'm not wrong, Crompton at one point had gone sub below the 200 moving average. The stock in the last 1 week has seen some recovery, but it's still trading below the 200 moving average on the more longer term basis. But this could actually be a very good time where you may look to buy or average further, because the volumes in this last leg of this recovery for the stock has been on the much higher side, indicates that there has been a good fishing which has happened to the stock. So would suggest a buy on Crompton, but maybe just about a hold on NMDC Steel.
All right. Mr. Chokalingam, any view on Lloyd Engineering? Sarthak is holding 1500 shares and his buy price is 57 rupees. I'm not sure whether you tracked this one or not, but any view on this?
Sorry, again, I have not seen. The whole small cap universe has expanded manifold in 2 years, so it is difficult to cover all. So I'm sorry, next time I will come with more preparation.
No worries at all. But Mr. Chokalingam, any view on BSC? Sudharani is holding 165 shares from a price of 590 rupees. Good to hold on, or maybe look out to book out some profits?
We recommended the stock around 200 rupees and we closed it successfully. On the channel also I recommended at 1/14th of the current market price. Of course, that is not the reason to give sell call, but definitely it's a great sell because now it trades at a substantial premium to NSE price, which we hear from the unlisted market. BSE has not succeeded in increasing the market share in the cash transaction. It is still around 7-8%. So I don't see justification for the substantial premium for BSE over NSE, which is a market leader. And also there are chances of NSE getting listed possibly in the near future. So that should also compete with BSE. So in the stock market place, therefore I would consider this as ideal time to book profits in BSE.
Right, Mr. Chokalingam, just a caveat, not only you, all of us are stumped with the small cap rally, and there are names that we've never heard about. We've actually seen a lot of queries come about on those stocks also. So you're not alone when it comes to all the small cap rally and not covering all those stocks. But nevertheless, given your years of experience, thank you so much for actually guiding our viewers. But let's kickstart with that with a rapid fire then. And this one is coming from Edwin from Bahrain. He has 50 shares of Clean Science Kunal at the price of 1,350. He's sitting with good profits. What should you do next?
I would recommend a hold.
Okay, Mr. Chokalingam, he wants to know, can she go ahead and buy Waaree Renewables at this point in time? Any?
No.
All right, Kunal, is it the right time to enter Syrma SGS is what Ranganath Rao is asking.
Well, yeah, it could be a very good time to buy the stock.
Okay, Kunal, Jaya Raman is holding 130 shares of Apar Industries from a price of 750 rupees. Holding for the last 5 years. What to do next in this one?
So almost like a 10x, you can continue to hold on, trade your stop losses.
Okay, Sudha wants to know which is the best housing finance company that she can look to invest in for good returns. Mr. Chokalingam?
I would rather focus on HDFC Bank, diversified play, because the competition is hectic in housing finance.
All right, Kunal, Aditya wants to know, can he go ahead and enter HAL at this point in time? If not, then any entry level?
Yeah, I think current levels is also good enough to buy HAL. I would also recommend people to add the BEL as well as Cochin Shipyard.
All right, Kunal, this has come from S. Jonah. Wants to know about Tanla and Piramal Enterprises, 100 shares of each of these counters and suffering losses. What strategy should the viewer use?
Continue to hold on, but if these stocks come closer to or break out about the 100 moving averages respectively anytime in the next 1 to 2 months, look to add or buy.
All right, Mr. Chokalingam, what's your view on HUL? Shobha is holding the shares from a price of 2,450 rupees. Good to hold on for the long term and any target?
No, better to shift to Nestle or ITC. HUL revenue growth is struggling more than compared to peers.
All right, Kunal, VA Tech Wabag is a counter. Umesh Gupta has 100 shares at 520 rupees per share. Continue to hold or book profits?
Continue to hold on.
All right, Kunal, viewer named Vivek is holding JB Auto from a price of 1,000 rupees. What to do in this one?
Continue to hold on, but keep a trailing stop loss of 1,600, 1,650 approximately.
All right, with that, we come to the end of Rapid Fire as well as the queries. Thank you so much, Mr. Chokalingam, as well as Kunal, for joining. on the show resolving all the viewer queries. Thank you, Kunal, for the Pathshala as well. And with that, we come to this week's edition, or the end of this week's edition of Buying Our Selling as well. So goodbye from Shrishti, myself, our producer Shriyansi, as well as our director Trevor and Santosh. Thank you so much for watching.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.